This is a video response to the Rufus DaMan channel and the question posed of character secret abilities. And it's a pretty broad question because it goes into the idea of characters having abilities within them, such as force abilities or magical abilities of some kind that they are unaware of, and then ties that into the question of the player of that character not being aware of it or being aware of it, and the group of players being aware or unaware of it. So that sets up some interesting social dynamics. The open secret that eventually that character is going to develop the special ability, or the shared small secret between the game master and the player that one day that character is going to develop a special ability, or the GM's secret. I'm going to deposit this special ability upon your character at some point in the campaign, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens can be both awesome and less than awesome. These days, my game playing doesn't include a lot of opportunities for me to take on the role of a character. More often than not, I'm the game master. But in the early days of my gaming, this happened all the time. We were rotating GMs, and there was a lot of experimentation going on because we were all just new and figuring things out. And there were many opportunities for the secret to be a part of what was going on. I have had a game master come to me and say, hey, why don't we try this? And I've approached the game master myself and said, hey, well, how about we try that? And I've had game masters suddenly drop a secret on top of my character or another person's character in the group and say, hey, look what you can do now. Isn't this amazing? Let's see what happens. To varying degrees of success. So, what determined those degrees of success? Is the presence of a secret itself a problem, or is it the handling of the secret that's the problem? That's the question. I'm not sure I'm able to answer the question. I don't know if anyone really can, because it's tied so strongly to player preference. What do I mean by that? I mean, there are some people for whom their character concept is sacrosanct, is so important that having an outsider have influence over how that character develops is seen as an intrusion or as unpleasant in some way, makes them unhappy, etc., etc. In fact, a lot of the ways that a lot of indie games have developed in terms of character development is tied to this, that the only person who should be in charge of or have say over how your character develops should be you. Play the character you want to play, this sort of thing. Not all games subscribe to that, and of course the interaction between characters in a game and in the world as it's brought to life by the game master, well, these all have effect on how your character develops, but at a certain point it's time to spend experience or in some way improve your character. And if someone else steps in at that point and says, you must develop in this way, it can annoy a significant amount of people. So the annoyance factor needs to be assessed or known. And you can deal with this in advance by floating the concept as a concept, sitting around having coffee, talking about games and game stuff, and just float a what if long in advance of actually implementing this. The reaction you get in that hypothetical environment won't be as strong as the reaction you get when you actually do it to somebody, but it will at least be an indicator of the openness in your group to the idea. I think the next thing that needs to be assessed is then the motivation for the secret ability. Now, in the original video, I feel like this motivation is coming from a good place. we all think that this particular concept, like force use or some kind of magical ability, this is pretty cool and exciting. And in the source material, in the movie or the book or video game or whatever, these abilities manifest as a surprise. Well, how can I replicate that in my game if it's not a surprise? And this is an excellent question. There are other times, and people can get confused about the difference when the motivation for bringing in the secret or the secret ability is, let's say, more selfish in some way. And I made a joke with the annotations earlier in this clip about this. You know, the translation of the GM thought patterns when he says, look at this cool ability you've suddenly manifested. Let's see what happens. The translation of that is, there's something wrong with my campaign, right? Either I'm bored, or I feel you're bored, or we just saw this cool new movie and I'd like my existing campaign to continue. I don't want to scrap it and start a new game related to that. So let's kind of blend them a little bit, or what have you. When the motivations are tied to something other than, the purity of the experience. If they're tied to something other than the real development of that campaign setting or those characters in a way that matches the expected genre and the theme of the campaign as everybody understands it, then there can be problems. There won't always be problems. Some people like surprises, and some people don't notice that this has been done, and some people are really, really sensitive to what they see as heavy-handed manipulation of meta concepts in the game, so the game part of the game. And some people just don't want to spend experience points or use experience rolls, or in whatever way that the system works, improve their characters according to someone else's point of view. Others get their nose pushed out of shape by a perceived imbalance between characters, even in systems where there is no actual balance between characters. People are funny. Being aware of them and their motivations helps to solve some of these problems. As we mentioned at the beginning, the secret might be unknown to the character but known to the player, or known to the player and the character but not the rest of the group. What are some examples of these? Like at the beginning of Star Wars A New Hope, Luke has no idea that he has, that the Force is strong within him. None. Now, very quickly, he learns this and very quickly begins his journey. And usually in the sorts of literature or film where this secret ability is represented, either the entire story is about them not knowing and then uncovering the ability for some kind of dramatic conclusion, or they discover it early on and have to struggle with it or wrestle with it as a part of their character. So it's important to remember that, because that's what you're asking the player to do, or that's what the player is asking you to be able to do. Right? I want to spend a significant amount of my time coming to terms with this secret ability, or I would like at some point to have something cool happen to my character. How do the other players feel about that? And then there's the type of secret where the character is fully aware of it, and their behavior, if the player knows about it, should be offering subtle clues or hints. And if the player doesn't know about it, there should still be something odd and out of place, because this, again, is how the source fiction for the genre that's appearing at our table operates. The secret in your group might be secret magical power, or the secret, force sensitive, that kind of thing. It might be the secret lineage. The character is actually the descendant of kings and queens. The character is the secret assassin. And this is how they They make their living when not being sent on assassination missions, and hopefully they'll never have to go against the party, but you never know, and that kind of thing. The traitor in the group, someone of great importance hiding among the commoners. There are lots and lots of different secrets which either are abilities or part of background. Why they are there is the important thing. So if this is something that affects just one character in a group of characters with a group of players, then handling this to disturb the smallest number of people, because I guess there's a chance that somebody in the group is going to be annoyed. That's why this question exists. Handling it as smoothly as possible is an actual technique. It's a social part of the game. So let's look at that. From the game master's perspective, assessing the effect on the player and their ability to interact with the system and the group should come before you make up your mind to drop a secret on somebody. Beyond the coolness of the story and beyond how they might react to that secret being revealed within gameplay, what is the effect, mechanically and socially for the player of having that happen? That needs to be assessed before you decide to go ahead. If you are sure and you have assessed that there's minimal effect either socially or mechanically on the player, or the system makes it easy to deal with these things, the mechanical things, well, then I suppose there's really no reason not to go ahead. But what if there is doubt? Should you just automatically not do it? Again, ultimately, that decision rests with you. No amount of internet interaction is going to make that decision any better or any easier. It's your game, it's your group. But one thing I would say is that in the beginning of play, we didn't know how to do anything, and everything that we were trying was a risk. We can't find the rule. We have to make a ruling on the fly, otherwise the game's just going to fall apart right here, right now. And we experiment. Or, we suggest a new game and people in the group are, I don't know, but, you persuade them to try it. And it either succeeds or fails. This is really no different than that. But overall, have a sense of where you are going with it. What is the purpose of this secret? Is it fun for the group? Is it fun for a player? Is it fun for just you? Is it to emulate a particular type of fiction? Is it to add a level of realism to a political or thriller or horror kind of setting? What is its purpose? What are you trying to do? If the purpose doesn't match up with the effort or doesn't match up with the possible negative effects, then you have your answer. If there's doubt, then clearly there needs to be some discussion within the group about this idea, either explicitly, like in this game I want to do this, or in this game I want to have a certain amount of freedom to apply secrets, or I want you to have freedom to have secrets from each other. Or you just don't do it. And I guess that ends my video response to Rufus DaMan on this pretty deep and interesting question. I hope this response has had some value for those who watched it.